Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We'll turn our attention back to the forthcoming screening of the ministerial nominees that will go on in the Senate today. Well, now we're joined by Senator Shehu Sani, who is a member of the APC. Thank you for coming on this morning, Senator.
Thank you very much.
Well, many are looking forward to that, and paint us a picture, if you will. What should we look forward to?
Thank you again. Well, what Nigerians will look forward to is that this screening is going to be different from the one which we have had in the last 16 years, in the sense that we are now in a new era with a new government, a new spirit, and a new order. And those who will serve as ministers in this new government will certainly have to be morally, ethically, in conformity with the verities of the new government. And that is, this is the first time we are having an opposition party taking over power, and the mission, the vision, and the spirit of this new government is quite different from the ones we have had in the past. So whoever are going to be part of this new government certainly have to reflect the order and vision of the president and his government as a whole.
You know, in the light of the focus on this and certain allegations and speculations make it around, albeit in the media, many think, and then more so when Senator Melaye, he speaks for the Senate, talked about 2 senators from each state at least having to give their nods to each each ministerial nominee. Many think that some ministers may not scale through. You've been talking to your colleagues behind the scenes, I reckon. What kind of feeling or vibes do you get about that particular decision?
Well, I read the reactions with regards to what Senator Dilo said. But what we want to do this time around by saying that senators from respective states where nominees came from should, to at least 2, should give us an insight of who the nominee is simply based on the fact that those senators from a particular state knew who that nominee is better than other senators. If you are from, say, Kaduna State, where I come from, and then a nominee comes from Kaduna, other senators from other parts of the country will not know much about him as much as the senators know. It is not to say that 2 senators must approve before one becomes a minister. It's not that, that's not the case. But those senators from a particular state will inform other senators of who that person is and better inform them, and also be able to vet on claims which he made or issues which he refused to disclose publicly. So these are all things which are done to help the Senate being able to be able to screen the nominees so that Nigerians will know who are going to minister over their ministries.
Do you have any major issues with the Senate, the nominees from your state, for instance?
I can tell you, as of this moment, I don't know who the nominee from my state is or was, for the fact that the only nominee that was speculated to come from my state, which was Hajia Amina Muhammad, I was able to cross-check and find out that she wasn't a nominee from Kaduna State. She is a nominee from Gombe State, and the very fact that that was not earlier clarified raised issues and controversies, and people started throwing missiles, and that further model of the whole debate. But now we can say that my state has no nominee for now, but I hope with the second envelope our nominee will be there, and then from there I would be able to make an informed comment about who he is and what he makes claims of and what he is likely to do.
What if it turns out that she's a nominee after all from Kaduna State?
Well, if she is a nominee from Kaduna State, what personally I intend to do is to quickly gauge on the views of people from my state. And if they felt that she is someone we should adopt, certainly I will adopt. But if they said she is not, and they brought evidence to prove she's not from that very state, certainly I am not going to vent my signature on her, and I will certainly make my views very known, because the essence of nominees coming from state is to have representation of those states in the federal cabinet, and also to be able to, in one way, also use your presence in the federal cabinet to also make impact in your state. But if you give out the nominee from my state to another state, you are simply depriving my state from being there. And Amina Mohammed, I knew her as a very capable person who has done a lot in terms of her area of interest and profession. But the issue of her representation has to be taken into cognizance that the Constitution made it very clear every state must be represented, and those who should be represented should be the ones who come from your state.
I know she's not in focus today. We're looking at everyone, but at least you're from Kaduna State, and we should also be able to ask you a couple of questions that has been going around that particular nominee. Have you tried also looking at the issue about marriage and how a Nigerian woman by marriage can claim 2 states?
Well, this is something that has been on for some time. Whether the state you come from is the one which you originally claim or the one of you cannot be from 2 states. You have to decide which state you are from, and then from there it will mark that you come from the state.
You have to choose one.
Yeah, you have to choose one, because in forms you fill, whether in the banks, in schools, wherever, there will be state of origin. So you can't put Sokoto and Katsina State, or Enugu and Cross River State. So you have to choose which state you belong to. And even in the forms which you fill, perhaps for during security screening and Code of Conduct Bureau, you also have to state which state you come from. And I have gone through some of their documents, and I'm satisfied that there wasn't such kind of confusion.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering, though, I've seen this, if you say that a woman can choose, and she chooses the state of her husband, and that's all she's used since she got married, would the state then say, well, we don't think you're from here, you have to go back to your state of origin, that's where we think you should be represented?
I think if there is any confusion with regards to this, then you are simply exciting my interest in presenting this forward to the Senate, and to address this very problem of if a woman is married, which state does she come from, and to make clarifications. But I think in a broader sense, the Constitution have also made it clear, if you live in a certain place for a certain time and have paid your tax, you can claim to be from that very state. But in politically, that is something different. In politics, your father may come from one state and your mother may come, but politically it can be used against you in most sense. So when it comes to politics, there is nothing that cannot be manipulated to reflect the interest of the person who is speaking. So I can say that definitely you must choose which state you come from, and I've gone through the documents which most of them have provided for us, and I don't see any confusion in that. They definitely say this is where they come from, and that is why, as for this lady, I'm satisfied for now. She is from Gombe State.